Namaste from India. My name is Mahesh Ramnani. On behalf of Golden Eagle Luxury Trains, I welcome you all for this presentation on our tour to Southern India called Madras Mail. Before I talk about our tour program, I would like to tell you briefly about my country, India. It is the world's second most populated country with a population of over 1.3 billion people living in this country. We are the seventh largest country in the world in terms of area, covering over 3.2 million square kilometers, and we are the world's largest democratic country. We got independence on 15th of August 1947 from the British, and ever since we have been a secular country. We do not have any state religion, though 80% of us are Hindus. The largest minority is of the Muslims, forming around 15%. Over 2% are Christians, but we have other religious groups like the Buddhists, the Jains, the Jews, the Sikhs, and the Parsis. Talking about our land frontiers, we cover over 15,000 kilometers of land frontiers, and the coastal frontiers are over 7,500 kilometers. We have our neighbors on the west, Pakistan. In the north, we have China, Nepal, and Bhutan, and our eastern neighbors are Bangladesh and Myanmar. In the south, we do not share land frontier with Sri Lanka and Maldives, but they are our southern neighbors. On our tour, we are actually taking you to the coasts of Arabian Sea on the west, Indian Ocean in the south, and Bay of Bengal on the east. Here we have the tour program of our tour called Madras Mail. We start our tour from Mumbai, and those of our guests who have also seen my presentation on Darjeeling Mail would remember that for that tour as well, we start from Mumbai, which is the financial capital of India. So some of the information you will see being repeated, that is only for Mumbai, but rest is all new. Nothing overlapping the Darjeeling Mail. So from Mumbai, we take you to Goa. From Goa, we take you to the hill station of Ooty. From Ooty, we go to the coast of Cochin, then Thiruvananthapuram. From Thiruvananthapuram, the southernmost tip of India called Kanyakumari. From Kanyakumari, we take you to the temple town of Madurai. And from there, we take you to the former French colony, Puducherry. From Puducherry, we take you to Chennai, and last but not the least, we take you to Hyderabad, the city of the Nizams. In Mumbai city, we start our tour with a stay in our fabulous hotel, an iconic hotel called the Taj Mahal Palace and Towers. You can see in this picture the two buildings right behind the Gateway of India, which is an iconic building of Mumbai built to commemorate the visit of King George V to India in the year 1911. During our stay in Mumbai, we give you different experiences, including taking you to some of the World Heritage sites. So we take you on a boat ride to the Elephanta caves, which were built between 5th to the 8th century. These rock-cut panels, most of them are dedicated to the third god in the Hindu trinity, Lord Shiva, and it's a UNESCO site. In the city of Mumbai, we take you to Victoria Terminus, which has a new name, Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminal, built in 1888, and it's a World Heritage Site. The facade looks pretty calm and quiet, but once you step into one of its busy platforms, this is the scene during rush hour. Over 7 million commuters in Mumbai use this mode of transportation from home to the place of work. Over 7 million commuters every day. We also drive you around Malabar Hill, which is one of the posh residential areas of Mumbai. And talking about the land prices in this part of the city, some of the property is said to be as expensive as in Manhattan. Mumbai is also called the business capital of India or the financial capital of India. The former name of Mumbai is Bombay. We have certainly changed the names of some of our cities. So from Bombay to Mumbai, Calcutta to Kolkata, and Madras to Chennai. This is the picture of Antilia. This is the residence of the richest Indian, Mr. Mukesh Ambani. This is a 27-storied building with a helipad on the rooftop, serviced by 600 staff. Not too far from this palatial house, we have the shanty towns in Mumbai. So this is a beautiful example of coexistence in my country. This is the picture of a crescent-shaped road called the Marine Drive. And it is one of the important streets in Mumbai, and where you can see these tall buildings on the edge of the road. And on one side, you have the Arabian Sea. At night time, when it is lit up, this is also called the Queen's Necklace. During our tour, we also give you a culinary experience at Trishna restaurant. It's a famous seafood restaurant of Mumbai. Followed by some more sightseeing, we get to see Dhobi Ghat, its world's largest open-air laundromat. On the left side, you can see the cubicles where the washermen wash dirty clothes and then they dry them on the rooftops. We also visit a museum dedicated to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. The building is called Mani Bhavan. So when Mahatma Gandhi was alive, whenever he would visit the city, he would stay at this building. This is the picture of the Crawford Market, which is the wholesale fruit and vegetable market. Walking inside this market is quite an experience, and you get an experience of Indian entrepreneurship. You can see vegetable vendors and fruit vendors transacting their daily business. Dabbawalas. Dabbawala is a 125-year-old food delivery system. Mumbai is a very busy city. And when I showed you the picture of the local trains, which cater to 7 million people every day, it's not even possible at times to get into those busy trains. So carrying your lunchbox in that train is almost next to impossible. So what happens when the man leaves his home early in the morning to go to his place of work? His wife, his sister, or his mother would cook food for him in the kitchen. And at a certain given time, the dabbawala, the lunchbox man, would knock at the door to collect the food cooked at home. And he takes this lunchbox to the office, and after the lunch hours, he collects the empty lunchbox and brings it back to the home. This is an amazing food delivery system and known for their time management. Even students from Harvard University come to study their time management skills, and they have achieved Sigma 6 for their efficiency. We also go on a train. This is chartered by Deccan Odyssey, chartered by Golden Eagle Luxury Trains. The train is called Deccan Odyssey, and we board this train at Victoria Terminus, which has a new name, Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminal. So welcome aboard Deccan Odyssey, which is going to be our home for next 7 nights. So once on the train, our next destination is Goa, which is a former Portuguese colony and famous for its beaches, coconut plantations, and great Portuguese influence on its architecture and culture. During our tour of Goa, we visit 2 churches. One is, say, Cathedral of one is Basilica de Bom Jesus, which was built between 1594 to 1605. One of the unique features of this church is that we have the mortal remains of Saint Xavier's on display inside this church. Our next destination is Ooty, but we take our Deccan Odyssey to Mettupalayam, which is at the elevation of 325 meters above sea level, or equivalent to 1,066 feet above sea level, to the height of 2,200 or 7,349 feet above sea level. Ooty has two more names, Udagamandalam and Ottakamand. This day, we give you an experience on Nilgiri mountain rail. Our journey takes you through beautiful landscape, lot of greenery, and as we gently climb up the elevation, you get to see some beautiful natural sights. Once in Ooty, we have our lunch at Taj Savoy. Taj is the largest chain of hotels in the country and known for its character. So this particular hotel, Taj Savoy, has a great British influence. In fact, most of the hill stations in my country were developed during the British era. It is also said the game of billiards was invented in Ooty. In Ooty, we also visit Botanical Garden, laid out in 1848 and covering an area of 136 acres. After the sightseeing in Ooty, we take you back to Mettupalayam to board our train Deccan Odyssey, and our next destination is Cochin. Cochin, in 1341, there was a flood and a harbor was. Ever since, we had Arabs, Chinese, and European traders pouring into Kerala, and Cochin is one of the coastal towns in the state of Kerala. Kerala was also called the destination of the spice route and was called the land of black gold, which means black pepper. Cochin has some interesting sites to visit. So here we have some Chinese influence, which you can still see in Cochin, the Chinese fishing nets. These are fixed land installations for fishing, and when the tide is high, they bring down the nets into the water and you get the fresh catch of the day and they pull up the nets. So on our tour, some of our guests tried their hand at catching fish. In Cochin, we also visit St. Francis Church, which was built in 1503. But Vasco da Gama was once buried inside this church, but later on, his body was exhumed and taken to Portugal. We also visit Dutch Palace, which is now a museum famous for its wall paintings done with natural colors, pigments of the stones, and vegetable dyes, and are also on display some amazing portraits and collection of the royal family of Travancore. We also visit a synagogue, which is the oldest in India. Rather, it is said the oldest active synagogue in the Commonwealth of Nations, constructed in 1568, famous for its Chinese tiles in the floor and the Belgium chandelier. When we talk about Golden Eagle train tours, we are not just talking about visiting monuments, visiting temples and churches, but it is about experiencing the culture. So during our tour, we also experience one of the oldest classical form of dancing from Kerala called Kathakali. In this dance, they depict the stories from the great Hindu epics, the Mahabharata and Ramayana. The artists are all men. Even the female characters are enacted by these men. But what is amazing about this dance form is all expressions are given by eyes movements and the amazing makeup they adorn. Experience is another beautiful experience in Cochin. So as we travel, we don't just get to eat the same kind of food in every city we visit. In fact, we get a taste of the local cuisine wherever we go. From Cochin, we take you to Thiruvananthapuram, the capital of Kerala. The former name of this city is Trivandrum, but this is quite a tongue twister. Thiruvananthapuram, which means the city of God Ananta. During our tour of Trivandrum, we take you to Napier Museum, where you have an amazing collection of artifacts and bronzes, which is the collection of the royal family of Travancore. And when I'm talking about royal families, just to remind you, at the time of independence in 1947, we had approximately 562 independent kingdoms ruled by the local kings, where the Hindu rulers used the titles Rajas or Maharajas, which means the king or the great kings, and the Muslim rulers used the titles Nawabs. However, there was one Muslim ruler who used the title Nizam, and that was the Nizam of Hyderabad. We also take you to the temple, Padmanabh Swami temple, dedicated to the second god in the Hindu Trinity. It's a temple which is 7-tier and an amazing piece of architecture, a mix of Dravidian style of architecture and Kerala style of architecture. As a rule, no foreigner is allowed inside the temple, but it's a beautiful piece of architecture you get to see. However, this temple got the world attention in the year 2011, where of a certain discovery of a hidden treasure, and the Forbes puts it a $1 trillion hidden treasure chamber is discovered at India's Sri Padmanabh Swami temple. So this came to the limelight, so you can call it the world's richest temple. We take you from Trivandrum or Thiruvananthapuram to the southernmost tip of India called Kanyakumari. During the British era, this town was called Cape Comorin, but now it is named after the virgin goddess Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari is famous for its sunsets, and this is where the three seas meet: the Bay of Bengal, on the west we have the Arabian Sea. So amazing sunset to be viewed at Kanyakumari. And this is the picture of the temple called Kumari Amman Temple, or the temple to the Virgin Goddess. Our next town is Madurai, the temple town built on Vagai River in the state of Tamil Nadu. We have 28 states in the country and 8 union territories. And during our tour, we take you through 5 different states and 1 union territory, that is Puducherry. This is quite a busy street in the town of Madurai. Early in the morning, before breakfast, we take you to experience the flower market, which is very colorful, and it is really very busy in the morning hours. And post breakfast, we take you to Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple, a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva, the third god in the Hindu Trinity, and his beloved wife Parvati. There are 14 gopurams. These towering gateways are called gopurams. And in the next slide here, you get an insight into the detailed carvings. Most of these gopurams depict the stories from Hindu mythology and are very colorful and ornate. We also take you to Tirumalai Nayakar Palace, built in the 17th century, a beautiful piece of architecture. But along with this palace, there is a gallery where you have a collection of stone sculptures. We go back to Madurai Meenakshi temple in the late evening to watch this ceremony. In Hinduism, when we talk about gods and goddesses, there is a lot of personal touch to their experience. So at night time, Lord Shiva is taken on this palanquin in a procession to the chambers of his wife, Parvati, where he stays overnight, and the following morning, his idol is brought back to his chambers for the devotees to come and offer prayers to him. So it's a pretty human experience which we associated with the divine. And the ceremony is called the Aarti ceremony. Our next destination is Puducherry, which was formerly called Pondicherry, a French colony till 1954. There are two sections in this town. One is called the French Quarter and another one is the Indian Quarter. And if you're walking through the French Quarter, we also visit Rajnivas, which is now the official residence of the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, but formerly used by the French governors. On our last train, Madras Mail tour, our guest had an opportunity to visit this building and had an audience with the Lieutenant Governor, Dr. Kiran Bedi, who is a former police official and also a Magsaysay Award winner. We take our guest on these cycle rickshaw tours to explore any city. This is the best mode of transportation. You look at the things at a very slow pace, and these cycle rickshaws are pulled by men. This is the picture of the statue of Marquis Dupleix. And this is the man responsible for the success of Puducherry. He was a French governor in Puducherry, but unfortunately, he later lost to the British and went to France almost penniless. We also visit a Ganesh temple. In this picture on the left side, you see the picture of the god Ganesha. He is the Hindu god, the remover of obstacles. He is the god of good luck and prosperity. And he is the first god we Hindus worship. He has a face of an elephant. So outside this temple, you have a real elephant. And in this picture on the right side, you can see a devotee seeking blessings from the elephant as the elephant places its trunk on the forehead of the devotee. We also visit Sri Aurobindo Ashram. Sri Aurobindo started his career as a freedom fighter. He was fighting against the British and seeking the independence of the country. But to escape the British, he took refuge in Pondicherry, which is now called Puducherry, a former French colony. But later on in his life, he went on the spiritual search and became a guru, a swami, and he started his own ashram, and he has a big following in Puducherry. And this is the building where his mortal remains are. This is another French legacy, which is still intact in Puducherry, but they have done away with it in France. KP. KP is an integral part of the uniform of the policemen in Puducherry. On the train, in the bar, here you have a picture. The gentleman with the saxophone is a musician from Goa. And one of our guests on the tour, he joined him on the keyboard. And this is our last night on Deccan Odyssey. And we want to celebrate it, and we have the Bollywood night on board the Deccan Odyssey. So welcome to the Bollywood night. So this is the end of our tour on Deccan Odyssey. We deboard the train in Chennai, which was formerly called Madras. And Chennai is the state capital of Tamil Nadu. Now we are on the east coast, Bay of Bengal. Before we go to our hotel, This time we had an experience for our guest. So traveling with Golden Eagle is not just monuments, but experiences. So this arrangement was done exclusively for the guest of Golden Eagle trains. We had the locomotive EIR 21, built in 1854 by Kitson of Leeds, and it pulled carriages. And we had the guest enjoying this steam locomotive journey on our trip of Madras Mail in December 2019. We also visit Fort St. George, built in 1641 by East India Trading Company, 1644. And we also visit a church, Santom Cathedral Basilica, built in the 16th century by the Portuguese explorers over the tomb of Saint Thomas. Saint Thomas the Apostle brought Christianity to India in the year AD 52 and established 7 churches in Kerala. So Christianity came to India much before it went to Europe. But he died in Tamil Nadu, and this is the spot where he is buried. We also have lunch at Taj Coromandel, another Taj property. And we are going to stay at this beautiful beach resort, Fisherman's Cove, again by the Taj Group of Hotels for next 3 nights. During our stay at Taj Fisherman's Cove, we take you to Mahabalipuram, which is also called Mamalapuram, a World Heritage Site, beautiful rock-cut temples right at the beach of Bay of Bengal, dating back to 7th century, amazing carvings in granite. These are also called the shore temples. From Chennai, we fly you to Hyderabad, the state capital of Telangana, and we are booked to stay at Taj Falakanuma Palace. It's a 19th century palace, now converted into a hotel. So it's a hotel with a character. So during our stay at Taj Mumbai or at Taj Falakanuma is like a hotel with a character. So you get to experience the luxuries of the bygone era. This was the property of the Nizam of Hyderabad. Nizam was the title used by the former ruler of Hyderabad, and at one time he was world's richest man. And talking about his wealth, in his possession he had a diamond called Jacob Diamond, which is still considered to be one of the largest in the world, and he used it as a paperweight. So you can imagine the kind of wealth this guy possessed. And just another trivia about his territory was that he had the Golconda mines, and where the diamonds were mined, and the famous Kohinoor is also was also mined in Golconda mines, and diamonds were mined only in India before 18th century. During our tour of Hyderabad, we take you to Chaumala Palace, built in 1750. We take you to the old town and walk around a mosque and this iconic building called Char Minar, built in 1591. Char means 4 and Minar is a minaret. We also visit the Qutub Shahi tombs. The Qutub Shahi dynasty ruled over Hyderabad, this territory, before the Nizams took over. We also visit the Golconda Fort, which was built during the Qutub Shahi dynasty, one of the formidable forts of my country. And the last evening of the tour, where we have the farewell gala dinner at Taj Falkanuma Palace. Here is the picture of the cocktails before the dinner. And the dinner is hosted in this amazing dining hall at the world's largest dining table, which can accommodate 101 guests, and it has 5 chandeliers above the table. So on the left side, you can see the picture of the dining hall and on the right side. So it's actually a lot of history at Falkenuma Palace, which you experience, and a lot of it is still intact. And in fact, it is also possible during your free time to enjoy a hotel tour, rather the palace tour, and get an insight into the history of Hyderabad and its rulers. Talking about the tours, we are done with all the monuments, with all the cities, but without the local experience, no tour is complete. So in this picture, we are talking about the street food of India, where they are serving pakoras, which are fritos and samosas served with spicy chutneys. We Indians love our food to be very hot and spicy. This is pav bhaji. In the middle of the griddle, you have the mixed vegetables with a lot of butter on it and the pav, the bread. So it goes with the serving and the butter on top. On the right side, you see how it is served with butter on the top and some onion and lime along with the bread and the mixed vegetable called bhaji. Some Southern Indian experience, masala dosa. You can see this preparation on the left side. This is done with rice batter. It's a rice pancake. Then you have mashed potatoes, sprinkling onions and coriander on the top and tomatoes along with it, some sauces. And once it's ready, they have a beautiful presentation on the right side, which is served with sambar, the lentils. The white one is the coconut chutney, and the red one is the tomato chutney. Masala dosa is one of the amazing snacks from southern India. On the left side, on the slide, you have the sambar vada. Vadas are made with the lentils and deep fried, but on the right side, this is a dish for more health conscious. These are done with semolina or with rice batter, which are steamed and served with sambar, the lentils, coconut chutney, and tomato chutney. In my last presentation of Darjeeling Mail, I did suggest these three movies, which are available in Netflix in most of the countries. Just to remind you, Three Idiots is a movie about talking about the obsession of Indian parents. When they're blessed with a daughter, they want her to be a doctor. And when they're blessed with a baby boy, they want him to be an engineer. So this is an amazing movie called Three Idiots. And in the center, you have the movie called Dangal, which literally means a wrestling bout. This is a real life story about a wrestler who was a national champion and wanted to be an international champion, but he couldn't do that, fulfill his dream. So he thought when he will be blessed with a son, he would make him an international wrestling champion. But interestingly, he was blessed with 4 daughters and finally ended up training them as wrestlers. In fact, his 2 elder daughters have earned many a medal for the country. The third movie is Lunchbox. So I talked to you about the time management and precision of delivery of Dabbawalas, but in this movie, they make a mistake of delivering the lunchbox to a wrong man, and how the love develops between the two is an amazing story without seeing each other. I've added 2 more movies, CIA, which means Comrade in America. This is an interesting movie suggested by my colleague from Kerala, Mr. Arun Kumar, and it is a love story, and it talks about the girl who lives in America. She comes to India and falls in love with this boy from Kerala. And now the boy wants to go to America, but he's denied the American visa. So he lands up in Mexico and he wants to sneak into America. So it's quite an interesting love story, CIA, Comrade in America. And on the right side, it's Jodha Akbar. Though this tour is all about southern India, but the mighty Mughals ruled over India for over 300 years. And this is an amazing story of a love story developed between a Muslim ruler, the great Mughal Akbar, and his Hindu wife, Princess Jodha of Jaipur. The role of Jodha is enacted by a former Miss World, Aishwarya Rai. She was Miss World in 1994. So with this, I finished my presentation. Thank you for your time and patience. I hope you enjoyed it. And now over to Marina for some more information on our Deccan Odyssey. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you, Mahesh. That was very informative, as all of your talks when you're doing it on board the train as well, and during the tour, during the land tours. So I would like to say a couple of words about the train, and Mahesh will help me to list the slides, to turn the slides. Our train is called Deccan Odyssey. It is based in Mumbai, and we are chartering it for a number of our tours. For Deccan Odyssey, for tour in the northern India, that we call Darjeeling Mail, and for Madras Mail. And we are spending about 7 nights on board the train and 7 nights in the hotels. So here it is, some of the pictures of the inside of the train, where there are 2 restaurants in the middle of the train, bar car and the lecture car. And the lecture car, when we remove the tables, we also offer some yoga classes in the morning, and sometimes also yoga and meditation in the evenings. But our tours are very, very busy. Those tours are the taste tours, if you want. We were trying to show you the maximum in every place where we're going. And if you're interested in learning a bit more in depth, you will come back to this destination. And in the restaurants and the train, we are serving the food, both Indian and Western meals, and you have the choice of those, choice of Western or Indian meals. And of course, we're trying to serve something which is representing the area where we are traveling. So the bar car, there is also even a small gym in on board of our train, as well as massage, sauna, etc. Okay, Mahesh, let's go to the next slide. So restaurants, bar and lecture car, they are all in the middle of the train, and on 2 sides of the train attached to them the sleeping carriages. The sleeping carriages, we have the twin beds and double beds. Somehow when the train was built, they came to conclusion that double bed wouldn't be very popular. So we have only 5 compartments with double beds. The rest are with twin beds. And when booking, we would ask you to stipulate what type of bed you would like on board the train and in the hotels. On the train, the double accommodation is limited, and in the hotels, absolutely no problem. So here is the slide of our presidential suite. The presidential suite has 2 rooms, 1 bedroom and 1 like lounge room. It has 2 bathrooms, and it is only 2 of those suites per carriage. So the lounge can sleep an extra person if required. So if you're traveling with a family, 1 person can sleep in the lounge accommodation. They are all interconnected. Of course, the train, all the compartments are air conditioned, all of them en suite. Every carriage has the dedicated valet, who would serve you tea, coffee, do wake-up calls, make beds, etc. So laundry service also is provided on board the train, but it's not done on the train itself. It's done in the hotels during the stops. So we provide twice the laundry service during the train ride. Hotels, of course, no problem. Here is also the presidential suite, and as all of our tours, both in Russia and in India, everybody who booked the presidential suite has also in the price included the separate car and guide for all the destinations. So that's all the information, very short, about our train. If you have any questions, both Natasha, Mahesh, myself are very happy to answer, and we are looking forward to welcoming you on board. Thank you.